In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Living La Vida low carb. This show is changing lives. We talking about your diet, trying to get you feeling right. Cut up them avocados, fry some eggs. Time to explore the longest running health podcast, hosted by Jimmy Moore. Time to give up the crappy garbage. We're getting into ketosis. Every day is a new step to your goal. Yeah, you're getting closer, motivated and focused. Don't stop, just go. Time to get inspiration from the Living La Vida low carb show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com. Woo!
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website, and here's how the show works. If you're brand new to Jimmy Rants, pop on over to Instagram. That's where all the fun begins. I go live a couple of times a day over on Instagram, so go follow me there at Living Low Carb Man. That's LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like all my Jimmy Rantsers who are coming in right now are doing. Thank you guys for being here. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. But if you don't do Instagram, or if you somehow missed the live and the replay, we got you covered. We throw all the past episodes up on YouTube. So type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants on YouTube or even on Google. You will find the show. And we have so many episodes now, you guys, 250 plus, that if you type in Jimmy Rants and then some keyword search, like that crazy egg study that came out last week, Jimmy Rants and eggs, you will find the show where I talked about that. So pretty cool, right? Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. All of these links are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is more of an inspirational one, and I have a ton of things to talk about as it relates to keto and nutritional health. But I wanted to go a bit of a detour from that for this Jimmy Rants, because I'm getting a lot of emails and messages from people who feel like they are holding themselves back from some dream, some hope. So let's start with diet. A lot of people, they're like, I really want to do such and such thing in my keto, but I'm just not sure I'm ready for it yet. You know, I want to do things better. I want to make it optimal for me, but something's holding them back. I've had other people writing to me saying, you know what, I've always dreamt of writing a book, and I just don't know if I'm qualified to write. I don't know if I'm able to. What if people don't like it? And all of these kinds of things. And or they're in the midst of writing one. They're like, I just got to keep making it perfect. And then you got people in their life that they feel like they're kind of stuck in a rut. Is that you? Is that you right now? Do you feel like all of these things that you had hoped for in your life would happen hasn't happened yet, and you're kind of left in limbo right now? I hope this is resonating with some people, because I am sensing that there's a lot of people that have dreams and hopes and things for their life and what they're doing in their life that they're not fulfilling. And can I tell you, I've been there. I've been at that place in my life where I felt like, I know this ain't the be all end all. This can't be why I was put on this earth, to go through this kind of experience of life. When I was 32 years old and started on the Atkins diet, at that point in my life, I'm going, something's got to give. There's got to be more to life than what I'm experiencing with this. Because I had always been in jobs where I never felt I was valued the way that I thought I was valued. I was always put in positions where I was made to feel inferior, that there was something wrong with me. And I never really felt appreciated, loved, cared for, valued in any way. And so what I want to share with you guys here today is, and ask you this question of what we're going to talk about here today is, what's holding you back from success on keto, in your hopes and dreams that you have for your life, and in life itself? Because I think a lot of people, they don't realize how much they have inside of them. Because you guys know me as a best-selling author, a podcaster, someone who comes on here every day and talks to you on video. You know me as that now. But 20 years ago, would I have been doing any of this stuff? Probably not. Would I have ever achieved what I've been able to do in life had I not taken some risks? No way. And everything that is valuable in life is going to require you to take some risk. So if today you're teeter-tottering on should I start that business idea that I have? Should I write that book or start that podcast that I've always wanted to do? Should I even make changes into my diet, which a lot of people, they kind of teeter on that as well because they believe in that egg study that came out. They believe that, oh my gosh, I'm going to clog my artery. And so they have those trepidations when it comes to even like their diet. What's holding you back? Because I would contend that the major thing that is holding people back is you. You're getting in your own way. You're allowing your head to tell you things. Now, don't misunderstand me. I think a lot of people have a sixth sense about things, and they have a sensibility about things that you should certainly listen to when those things pop up. But I think a lot of the fears that people run into, a lot of the things that they feel like, oh, there's no way I could ever accomplish, whatever it is self-induced sabotage. And I've been there, guys. I am speaking from firsthand experience that I realize it's a big gulp moment. And let me tell you some examples from my life. So when I decided to go full-time doing Livin' La Vida Low Carb, that was in 2006. I had been blogging for right about a year at that point. It was after my weight loss experience on Atkins in 2004, started blogging in April of 2005. And by 2006, this was late 2006, I decided and went to Christine and said, I want to go full time with this. I think I can make something of this. And of course, she was very scared at the time. She says, there's no way. How do you make money from the internet? How do you make a living? How are we going to have health insurance? All those things that came up. And I said, do you trust me? Can you trust in me? And guys, had she said no, number one, I would have doubted our vows to each other in marriage. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But she did say, yes, I do trust you. And she did put the confidence in me being able to make something out of it. And for me, that was all I needed to take it and run with it. Because people are like, wow, you're so prolific. You put out so much content. What drives you? I'm like, that belief that Christine gave me, that she believed something could come from it. At the time, I had no experience in business per se. I had no background that would say I would be successful in this space. And it's so funny. I went full time, you guys, before Livin' La Vida Low Carb Show as a podcast was even created. It came a couple weeks after this when I said, well, I've got all this time on my hands now to be able to create stuff and do this full time. Why don't I do a podcast? And that was in October of 2006 that we started the Livin' La Vida Low Carb Show. And now we're at almost 1,500 episodes, and it's probably, besides Keto Clarity, what I'm most famous for is that podcast. But it would have never started had I not taken a chance. It would have never happened if I had held back on that hope and dream that I could make something of myself in that realm. So what I'm trying to do here today is encourage you, because all the people that are successful that you see that you're like, oh, I wish I could have the success that they've had. Every single one of them almost invariably had to take a chance. Every single one of them had to make that first step and just go. Just start whatever it is that they were doing. And for me, the podcasting, I had no experience podcasting. Number one, 2006, the iPhone was not even invented yet. So I started podcasting before iPhones were around. Now everybody has iPhones and smartphones in their hand, and they listen to podcasts very easily on the phone. Back then, you had to actually go to iTunes. You had to go and look up by keyword search whatever it is you wanted to listen to, and then you had to go and physically push a play button. It was much harder in 2006 in the podcasting realm than it is today, where you just pull it up on your phone and boom, you just start listening. But it was through that experience of taking that chance, knowing the value that I knew I had to share, and then taking it and running with it. So what's holding you back from having that same kind of thing happen? Because for me, you guys, that was the first chance that I took that then had a ripple effect down the line. So because Livin' La Vida Low Carb Show became a thing into the hundreds of episodes at one point, I got an opportunity to start writing books. And it was because of that willingness to not wait till I was, quote, ready. There's a lot of people that they say those kinds of things. They're like, well, I've got to prepare. I've got to wait until I'm for sure on solid ground. Maybe I need to put away some money to the side, which that's all prudent. Don't get me wrong. Before I start anything, and I need to plan for the next, however long, to make sure that I'm in the right place. And the thing that gets me is the people that start on books and they've written a manuscript and they've got a lot going, but then I need to add this and more, and I need to refine it. I'm like, you will never get that book done if you don't put it out. Even Keto Clarity, which I rewrote 100 times to make it as, quote, perfect as possible. Even at the end of that 100 times, I was still like, oh, I really want to change it a little bit more. But I resisted the urge, and now look at it. That book has changed the lives of so many people, has influenced them to go keto, and started their knowledge base of the ketogenic diet that they've now added to it. But had I held back, had I refused to release that book until it was, quote, perfect, it would have never come out. And look at all the lives that would have been impacted or not impacted in this case, had that book not come on the market. And I'll even tell you the story, and I've told this story a few times before on Jimmy Rants, but 2008, the stock market crashed, and it was really bad economically in America. And I was still young in podcasting, because I'd only been doing it since 2006. So 2008, that happens. 2009, I made no money for 8 months in a row. 8 months, you guys. So Christine and I, we had to cut everything. We cut cable. We cut our cell phones. We cut down on all of these non-essential type of things. And we just tightened our belt, and we ate frugally. I think we subsisted on eggs and just minimal priced foods for a very long time there. It felt like a very long time. And we almost had to give it all up. And that was in 2009 when circumstances pushed us to the very brink that we almost gave it all up. That people don't realize this about my work. It almost all went away in 2009 because 2009 was an extremely hard year financially for us. Low carb had already waned in the culture. The Atkins diet had been successfully vilified. Paleo and primals weren't around yet, and keto wasn't even on the radar screen of anybody. And thankfully, we were able to survive that 2009 when basically we made no money at all, hardly. Way below even the poverty line of income. But we survived. We had a lot of things happen to us that year that made it extraordinarily difficult. And guys, for the first time in 2009, since I started going full-time in 2006, thought, okay, that was fun for a few years. I guess it's time to go back to the real world of working in a normal job again. And thankfully, we got through that year. We got into 2010. Some of the podcast sponsors came back. And then 2012 was able to start writing books for Victory Bell Publishing. And from there have been off to the races ever since. But it almost all went away. And had I succumbed to that notion of, well, I tried and it didn't work, and all of the, quote, failure that I was seeing, there would have never been a Keto Clarity. There would have never been a Keto Talk podcast. There would never have been Jimmy Rants. None of the stuff that I get to do today and have the great privilege of doing in my work would have ever happened had I listened to all the kind of boo birds in the back of my head that said, you can't be a success and you won't be a success. So I'm trying to encourage you guys today. Hopefully you're feeling that through my voice here today, that if you have a hope and dream in your life, go for it. Run after it. What is holding you back? Don't let anything stand in the way of something that you are super passionate about, that you really desire to happen in your life. And I just wish that on everybody. Whatever your hope and dream is with your life, whatever it is that you think is going to give you great fulfillment in the day-to-day of living in this world, do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Don't hold back. Start sooner than later. One of the common themes that I've seen from people is, well, I have to get into the right place, and I have to organize all my thoughts, and I have to get my life to... No! Go now! Go right now! Don't hold back. And as someone who's been there and been through the really tough times of it all, you're going to survive. You will survive. It makes me want to sing, I will survive. Because you will. And I just want this to be an encouragement to you today, that if you have been holding back on some hope and dream in your life, some business that you want to start, a book you want to write, a podcast you want to start, or even a diet that you want to do, all of these things require you to take that first step. And when you take that first step, take another, and then start running your butt off, because you're going to be off to the races of living the dream, of fulfilling all of those hopes and desires that you've always had in your heart of hearts. And I just want everybody to be able to experience that. Now, not everybody has the gumption within them to make it happen. And those are the people that go along to get along, and they go through the motions of life. And at the end of life, they look back going, why didn't I? So don't have regrets at the end of your life going, why didn't I? I want you to say, I'm glad I. And guys, I can tell you very honestly that I'm so glad I really am. I'm glad I took that chance to become a podcaster. I'm glad I started writing books, and some that have been seminal in people's lives. I'm glad I have this great privilege of being able to come on here to talk to you guys every single day, to offer encouragement and education and wisdom, because it's making a difference in your life, the work that I get to do. And I want that for you. If that's your hope and dream and desire, go do it. Stop holding back. Get her done, as we say here in the South. And I'll be happy to help you along the way. If you run into bumps and struggles, I hope you can count on me. I hope you know you can count on me as a mentor in this. Please reach out. I'm very accessible. I don't always have all the time to just pour into people, because people will write me sometimes, can I just call you and just jibber jabber? I don't have time for that. But what I do have time for is if you have specific questions, I'd be happy to offer as a means of my way of paying it forward to other people for the blessings that I've had in my life. I do help a whole lot of people behind the scenes with book stuff, with podcasting things, with obviously keto stuff. All of this is a part of my continuing trying to do all the things that I hoped to do in my life. And so, is that your dream? Is that what you want to do as well? Let me help you, but get out there. You take that first step. Will you do that for me? Will you, whatever it is that your hope and dream is, will you let today be the start of what will be, I promise you, what will be the most exciting and most terrifying all at the same time part of your life? And you'll be glad that you did when you look back and you go, man, why did I wait so long to take that first step to fulfill all of these hopes and dreams that I have in my life, and in everything that I do? I know this has been a little bit of a different kind of Jimmy Rants, but I like throwing you guys a curveball every once in a while with these Jimmy Rants, but I do want to see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Jesse says, I have no idea where I'm going with this life. There's a lot inside of me, but what do I do with it all? The pieces of the puzzle are all jumbled up. Well, they're only jumbled up because you haven't made the puzzle clear yet. So keep working those pieces, move them around, Jesse. You will figure out what your purpose is. Because growing up and all the jobs I had up until I went full-time with Living La Vida Low Carb, I always felt the exact same way that you do right now. I always felt like these people don't see the value that I could offer them. Why can't they see that I'm better than these jobs that they're giving me? And it's real. When you feel like you're kind of stuck and that your ceiling is like right here, but you want to go way up here, there's no worse feeling, which is why I think a lot of people should take steps to make their own destiny, to make their own dreams come true. Because a lot of people, they also think, well, I'll just wait till those opportunities come. No, make your own opportunities and then go do them. And I think that's the demise that so many people have. They forget there is this thing called the American dream. And the reason we have an American dream is America gives us those opportunities. I'm sure it's that way around a lot of the other parts of the world too. But here in America, we have the dream to do whatever it is that you want to do. But you have to do the work. And you have to be willing to start, and start somewhere. Brittany Keto Glow says, yep, I've always been the one in my own way, using excuses to excuse myself from getting 100% out of fear, but I won't let anything stand in my way, especially myself. And see, Brittany, you have seen such dramatic change in your weight and health because you went keto, and now you're coaching people and doing all the things that you do in your world. And you've got little munchkins in your life that you're now trying to be the example for as well. So you are a bright, shining star, my dear. And if there's anything I can ever do to help you, you let me know. Christine is such a blessing. Yes, she is, Kimberly. She really is. Brittany says, also, take that step and never turn back. You'll be glad you did. Val says, I quit my job in 2006 to start pursuing a craft business. I was never able to sell enough to make anything. I had a home-based wedding flower business, and it never took off either. I have years of experience and still finding my niche. And see, that's the thing. I think people, Val, are afraid of failure, and you are proof positive that you tried some things. They didn't always work out. Guys, I have tried some podcasting things that didn't work out at all. I did one that I started last year called One More Thing with Jimmy. It's still on iTunes if you want to go look it up, Apple Podcasts, if you want to go find that show. But it only lasted 7 episodes because I wanted to talk about things that weren't necessarily always keto. I wanted to talk about other things besides nutritional health. So I thought, okay, let's throw a podcast up. Well, nobody would listen. I mean, I talked about Christine and her Star Trek fandom. I went in the backyard and we sat amongst our chickens. We did a whole chicken episode. My web guy, who is very skilled at podcasting as I am, we did a whole episode on how to start a podcast. That show bombed worse than anything I've ever done in my career doing this. But that's okay. I tried it. Nobody liked it, so we stopped doing it. But that's the lesson too. If you try something and you've done it for a bit and it's not working, then okay, move on to the next thing. There's always another page. So turn that page, see what happens next. You know what I turned from after One More Thing? I thought, man, I should do this show on Instagram Live. I should go on and just talk about whatever I want to. Maybe find some of those articles that are out there online, and maybe like rant about like what's going on in the news. Yeah, let's call it Jimmy Rants. So guess what happened? That show, One More Thing, which bombed totally, turned into Jimmy Rants. Now, how's that for motivation? Because you guys watch Jimmy Rants. You're here. You didn't listen to One More Thing, but you're watching Jimmy Rants. So when things fail, it means the success is just around the corner. Grandma Does Keto says, I can't remember how I found you for Living La Vida Low Carb. So glad I did. That was the beginning, and now I'm stalking you. Well, Grandma Does Keto, I'm glad that you stalked me. Thanks for being here. She said, you inspired me to start my own blog, scary as anything I ever did, and it's so much fun. See, that's the thing. A lot of people, they don't think they're qualified to do a podcast. They're qualified to write a book. They're qualified to do a blog. Nobody is. None of us are. But you start it, and you do it, and you get the fulfillment from it. I know there's something out there that I'm able to be doing. I meant to say I'm never going to give up, even if the first things don't succeed. Exactly, Val. I knew what you meant. The Miracle of Keto. I've been at your age, Jimmy, so I'm here too. I'm finally happy with my life. My dreams have changed a lot along the way. My dreams have become a lot more simple, and I also jump when I get a good idea. And that's the thing. You now sense when you've got a good idea, you pick it up and you run with it. See, my problem now, guys, as someone who's found success in books, and my publisher pretty much gives me a blank check to write any book that I want. I have so many ideas for books now that I have to like temper them of, okay, what can I really pour myself into? What do I have knowledge on and passion for writing about? So it's just not just another book. So I have at least 100 book ideas, which maybe 5 of them will come to fruition someday. So that's the challenge now. I'm sorry you had to go through 2009, but I'm so thankful you're here now. Keto wouldn't be the same without Jimmy Moore. Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate that. Yeah, I often look back and go, what would have happened had Keto Clarity never come out? It's an interesting kind of thought experiment. Good things only come to patient people, says the Miracle of Keto, for sure. We need a whole page of Jimmyisms like boo birds. You never heard boo birds? Grandma Does Keto. Darla says, 2 messages like this morning. Well, good. I'm glad we're able to fulfill, and maybe something's trying to speak to you through those. Kimberly says, I love your real life wisdom. Thank you. Yeah, I've been through some interesting things, you guys, because people are like, well, there's just no way I could ever accomplish. And I go, well, I know people have gone through a lot worse things than me, but I've been through some pretty rough stuff when it comes to kind of the business end of things, and came out the other side a whole lot more successful than I ever imagined. The Miracle of Keto said, finding keto changed my life. My weight was the only thing I couldn't fix about myself. Now that I fixed that, I can enjoy my family, love my job, which are my proudest accomplishments. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Heather says, I'm working on transitioning my career from marketing to nutrition. It's hard as hell balancing CNTP classes on top of building my tribe and working my day job, but I'm doing it. And Heather, once all that education is done, you then will use all those skills that you have from your marketing to be even better at the nutrition stuff. Because people are like, what did you do before you went low carb and got into this space? I'm like, you know what? All the jobs I ever did before now kind of prepared me for now. So back in the 90s, I did a Christian radio. I was a volunteer disc jockey at a Christian radio station in Virginia Beach, Virginia. But like the extent of what I did was, and that was Michael W. Smith. Now here's Amy Grant. So no like podcasting skills per se, other than learning how to talk behind a microphone, but I didn't learn how to interview. That was all on the job with podcasting. And then I used to answer emails for a big national chain of restaurants, and I would answer all the emails that came into that company. So now that I get hundreds of emails myself, that was a transferable skill. I also used to work in retail where I would talk directly with customers. So I was used to talking with people, was a people person. So it makes it very easy now when I meet people in person at conferences. I know how to talk to people and I love people. And so, in fact, if you ever meet me at a conference and I don't hug you, there's something wrong with me that day. I promise you, because I hug everybody. It's just kind of my thing. So you will find Heather, that once the education's over, you'll slip right into there. It's scary to put my story out there, but I'm doing it, still working up the nerve to start YouTube. So guys, Heather has an interesting story that you definitely need to go look her up. Heather Kuhn, go find her. She's going to be on an episode of the Livin' La Vida Low Carb show very soon. So hang tight for that, you guys. Mishi says, you staying positive helps the rest of us keep going. Plus you have me laughing like crazy some days. Well, good. That is part of the goal. I get criticized a lot because I'm kind of a goofball. But don't try to change me. I'm a goofball. It's just who and what I am. Oh, well, you need to be very professional when you're on a podcast. No, I don't. I can be me. And I think people appreciate me not trying to be a fake when I do podcast or when I come on these Jimmy Rants. I'm me. What you see is what you get. If you ever met me in person, I'm the exact same person that you see on camera right now. I'm the exact same person in person. I am. It's too much work to try to remember, okay, what's my personality like on here? No, we're not doing that game. I've tried so many things, but thankful that I feel I have found my niche, says Brittany. I'm loving what I do now. I have big, big goals for 2019 and even 2020. Let's go. And Brittany, you have no idea even now that the dreams you have now are so minuscule as to what your potential is in the years to come. Just take it from somebody like me. What you think and where you think you'll be late this year, next year, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's coming. It's kind of like everything I've done before is rolling up into my new career. This must be my purpose. I'm looking forward to that big hug at KetoCon. Heather, you're going to get a big, long hug. I promise you, my dear. Okay, so the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants, you guys, is what's holding you back from success on keto, fulfilling all those hopes and dreams that you have in your life, to start a podcast, to start a blog, to write a book, to whatever the hope is in your life. And then your life itself. What are you doing with your life? Are you happy with where you are? If not, what's holding you back from finding that fulfillment that you know you want? And here's the thing, you know you can do. Let my example encourage you today. Because guys, I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy out here living life in the day-to-day. There's really nothing all that special about me other than I'm a guy that took a chance, stepped out on faith, took that first step to live the dream, I guess is the way to put it. And I want that for everybody that's watching this right now. You deserve that too. Don't you want to live your dream? Don't you want to be successful? Don't you want to feel like you're making a difference in the world and have a fulfilled life? I think we all do. So go do it. Go, go, go. Don't hold back. Brittany says, I'll be there this year, but I want to not just be a consumer of KetoCon. I want to have a booth or speak. That would be crazy. No, it's not crazy, Brittany. Brittany, that's what's going to happen for you if you keep going on the trajectory of what you're doing, because you've taken that step of faith and you're doing things to do exactly what I've been talking about here on this Jimmy Rants today. So don't be surprised if that invitation comes for you to speak. Kimberly says, watch out, world. We're all coming. Oh, yeah. We're all coming. And see, behind the scenes, guys, a lot of people don't know this, but I have mentored a lot of people that have gotten involved in podcasting, and I have helped probably 50 different people go get a book deal with a publisher. And I don't say that to brag per se, but just to say there's so many people that have hopes and dreams of doing things. And if I can be a part of your journey to fulfill your hopes and dreams, please let me know. Please let me know what I can do, if there's anything that I could do to help you along in that, because I have been so unworthily blessed in my life that I feel like it's my duty to pay it forward and to give back and to help whoever has that hope and dream and tenacity to go do it. Here's the worst thing that could happen. Somebody says, oh yeah, I have hopes and dreams, but then they never take it and run with it. I can't help you if that's you. But if you're ready to take it and run with it, I am more than happy to give you that little shove, that little boost. Anything I can do to help you out, please let me know. What a great message today. Thank you, Heather. You sparked a side rant between me and my mom. LOL, I need to listen to this on replay. Great. Good, Jesse. Well, guys, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. I hope it encouraged you here today. JimmyRants.com is the website. And I do promise you, I have lots and lots of stuff to talk about in the world of nutritional health. But sometimes the spirit moves me. I need to go and offer up encouragement like I did here today. JimmyRants.com. Go follow me on Instagram if you're not following me already. Livin' Low Carb Man. LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content. And then if you miss the live, you can watch it up for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, it does disappear. We throw all the past episodes up on YouTube. Go type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast on Apple Podcast as well as Stitcher. JimmyRants.com is the website. We'll be back a little bit later on, you guys, with another Jimmy Rants. So until next time, we'll see you then.